What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another Manchester City transfer update. We're rolling out daily Manchester City transfer updates throughout all of the January transfer window, so if you are interested, do subscribe, press that red button, press the bell and put your push notifications on. 22k subscribers, that is the aim. Now less than 600 subs away, so any help towards that would be much appreciated. Also, don't forget social media links. There's the description below and slanting across at the bottom of the screen if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter and Instagram. My email also in the description below too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business enquiries. Leave a thumbs up as well if you do enjoy this video. Once more, 300 likes, that is the aim. Also, don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments below of what you made of these transfers. And lastly, go and check out today's video sponsor, OneFootball. This video is brought to you by OneFootball. If you want to download the OneFootball app, all you need to do is press the link at the top of my description, which will take you forward to where you can download this app. The OneFootball app is extremely useful if you are a huge football fan just like me. It provides you with the latest footballing news, transfer news, and the latest videos as well. It is one source of information of where I get my transfer news from. It also allows you to see the latest scores with what's happening in the footballing world. If you just click on a game, including any Manchester City game, it will not only bring up the latest team news, but it will also bring up the latest statistics and keep you up to date with everything happening in that game. If you want to download this app, all you need to do is press the link at the top of the description to stay up to date. Thank you very much to OneFootball for sponsoring this video. If you want to stay up to date with all the latest football scores, results, statistics, live league tables, what channel you can view the game on, live commentary, as well as all the latest football news and transfer news. One source of information of where I get all my information for these transfer videos from OneFootball is a brilliant football app for you to go and get. It's a free app to download as well. Go and press that link at the top of my description. That'll take you to the download page to download OneFootball. Let's crack on with this video though. Let's start off first with a player that's already left Manchester City, who might be back. Ferran Torres. This is a very interesting yet odd transfer to talk about. Now, bear with me while I try and get the pronunciation of this source right. So it's Jugues. I've probably butchered that. I do apologise, but they're a Spanish media outlet. They're saying that Barcelona, they are struggling to register Ferran Torres. We know that for a fact. He isn't right now registered as a Barcelona player. They struggled like anyone's business in the summer to have Sergio Aguero and Eric Garcia registered. And the reason to that, without getting digging really deep into why the case is for this, it's down to La Liga's restrictions, and the basis of it is it's down to finances, and Barcelona's wage structure has to meet La Liga regulations. And when you register a player, that player, the finances involved with that, including the wage, has to meet La Liga regulations, which I'm going to presume right now it does not. And that may mean that Barcelona may need to do one of two things, which is A, either sell a player or take a player off their wage structure, that would by means of cancelling a contract, or getting rid of a player, or just basically unregistering another player, which I just don't think they're going to do. Or B, they could renegotiate some other contracts and bring down the finances that way so they meet La Liga's regulations. And I'm not entirely clear on what Barcelona are going to do right now about Ferran Torres. The latest I've heard on this is they're waiting for him to be back to full fitness. Once he's back to full fitness, he can obviously train and work with the squad, and that's when they'd be looking to try and get him included in their squad. So if they don't manage to sell players, they don't manage to get players on new contracts, and they don't cancel any contracts, and they don't manage to put anything in place, then I'm just wondering what happens in terms of Ferran Torres. And then I found this transfer story very interesting because Barcelona, they have asked Manchester City at some point during negotiations for Ferran Torres. There was anticipating there being some trouble with regards to registering Ferran Torres, that they've asked Manchester City if there was a possibility that they could sign Ferran Torres, for Ferran Torres then to stay at Manchester City. Now, City have sold Ferran Torres. He's no longer a Manchester City player. He's a Barcelona player. Lots of people have been speaking about the comments that he's made about Manchester City. I'm not here to delve into what could or should Ferran Torres say about Manchester City and everything, but the article was hinting towards there was a possibility that Ferran Torres could return back to Manchester City because Barcelona, well, they were more keen on this transfer being done in the summer. There is a reason why the first initial payments are going to come at a later date. And I'm just wondering if Barcelona had it in mind that they'd have an agreement in place and the transfer all sorted, but Ferran Torres doesn't actually come to Barcelona as of yet because they're not in a position to take on Ferran Torres. I find this very interesting. Barcelona apparently, though, still owe Manchester City money from a previous transfer, Denis Suarez. They still owe Manchester City 1.5 million euros from that transfer. So Barcelona's finances are not settled at all. And I find it very rich. I find it borderline hilarious that Barcelona's president Laporta's coming out saying Barca are back. We're going to be signing big names. They're after Morata, they're after Erling Haaland, and they're confident that they can get these transfers done. Yet when they're signing players and not actually paying for players, and they owe money to other clubs for other transfers, I find that very laughable about how that could actually be the case. Now, lots of people have problems with Manchester City and how they acquire their finances and everything, but City, in terms of business, are so much better run than some of these other European clubs. We don't have any debt. We don't owe any money to anybody. We pay everything on time that we need to. We're a well-run club. So I just find it very interesting that Barcelona's coming out with these things and these things being said. And I do think, in my honest opinion here, that Manchester City, when it comes to negotiations with Barcelona, because we've got such good relations with their board, with having their past board members in charge at Manchester City and the links with Pep Guardiola and other coaching staff that we've got at City and everything, I do just feel that the influence of Barcelona that we've got at the club means that we do have a soft spot when it comes to Barcelona and trying to help them out in, well, not an hour of need, so to speak, but certainly when they're needing help, Manchester City are there to help them. I do feel like we could have got maybe a little bit more for Ferran Torres. I do feel like we could have been a bit more stubborn. We could have held back a little bit more. I mean, just look at Daniel Levy and how he was negotiating the Harry Kane transfer. He was able to get Manchester City to up their bid by £20–30 million and still didn't buckle and back down. And yet Manchester City were here getting, in my opinion, a fee that met the low requirements for what it would take to get Ferran Torres, rather than trying to push to try and get a little bit more and hold a bit firmer. And perhaps Barcelona would have preferred if we'd done that, going off the story to be believed. So my honest opinion, I don't think Ferran Torres will come back to Manchester City, but I do find that article very interesting. Anyway, moving on to the ins, we've got a Dusan Vlahovic update. Tutto Mercato in Italy say that he's got interest from England, Spain and Italy. They're saying at this moment in time, Dusan Vlahovic prefers a move to either Spain or to stay in Italy. He wants to leave Fiorentina, so it comes as no surprise that the big guns of Spain and Italy are coming out and declaring their interest in Dusan Vlahovic. So that's, Juventus, they're being linked. Wouldn't surprise me if they were potentially going to sign him. I'm wondering if they've got a spare 70 million euros to make this transfer happen. Barcelona's name's being chucked out there, as I've just mentioned, with their finances. I'm finding it more and more unbelievable that Barcelona could start looking towards other transfers whilst not actually paying money for other players. Pay your debts first before going out there and trying to make statement signings. It just does not make sense to me, but there we go. Barcelona just trying to flex, I feel, and trying to bully, and I feel like La Liga are going to back down to Barcelona eventually because they don't want La Liga to be left behind by other leagues like the Premier League. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that one. But there's English clubs being linked as well. I am aware that Manchester City's name has been chucked out there, so interesting. I will keep my eyes and ears open in terms of Vlahovic. Now, what I found very interesting about this news story from Tutto Mercato was that we're speaking about a transfer being done in the summer rather than in the winter, which does suit Manchester City when it comes to contingencies for players like Erling Haaland, because then Vlahovic becomes an option for Manchester City. We're not going to sign a striker in this January transfer window. We know that. However, it doesn't mean City can't put things in the pipeline to get things sorted, and I do believe that Vlahovic would be one player that City would be having a good look at. One of my biggest fears in terms of this transfer was time and another club just stealing a march on Manchester City, because City will delay until the summer to get a new striker sorted, and if that is the case, Vlahovic is for sale right now, and if a club wants him, they've got a spare 70 million euros and it works in their account, they can go out there, put that bid in, that'd get accepted, and then they'd be able to have negotiations with the player to try and make a transfer happen. So that may well happen throughout January, and Vlahovic may not become an option, but right now he is an option, and right now you'd think Fiorentina would want to sell, and that is the indication I've got from Fiorentina, yet from the players camp be more interested in leaving in the summer rather than in the winter, so we'll see what happens. I would have thought though his value right now is at its highest point that it would be at, and by the summer, with him only having 12 months left on his contract, that price would come down, which again probably would suit Manchester City. Now, moving on to what I was speaking about in my last video, comes in the form of an update on Erling Haaland. Now, Laporta, the president at Barcelona, he says Barcelona, like I said, they're back, the fans, they can anticipate and expect and be prepared for big signings. Fabrizio Romano has said Barcelona, they do want Erling Haaland. They will talk with Raiola, his agent, this month about Matthijs de Ligt and Erling Haaland to try and sign him in the summer. It is believed that Barcelona are looking at Haaland to be that statement signing to suggest that Barcelona are back, which, as I've just mentioned, with their finances, how they're going to make that happen and work within their wage structure when Erling Haaland's going to be one of, if not the highest paid player at Barcelona, and how they're going to be able to register. It just leads to all kinds of problems, and surely if you're a player, you're Ferran Torres right now, you're thinking, I've not even been registered and I'm not too sure when or what's happening. Sure, that puts a little bit of doubt in your mind, and if you're a potential player signing for Barcelona and you know these issues are there and that's going to happen, surely that would put you off, particularly when there's suitable offers from sustainable, stable clubs out there. And that doesn't necessarily have to be Manchester City. I'm talking Erling Haaland have interest from throughout the world. Teams are in a better position to sign a player of that magnitude than what Barcelona are right now. I just feel like Barcelona are spending amongst their means right now. And I found Valencia's, is it chairman, here, or I think it might have been their president actually, his comments very interesting, saying, how are Barcelona doing this when they can't afford to pay for players? It's not making La Liga very fair. Where's financial fair play to help us? And I know what people will be thinking, a City fan talking about financial fair play. Just go back to the beginning parts of my video where I said City, they're a sustainable club who pay their money on time. They have the money there, and the business is ran incredibly well here at Manchester City. There's a reason why we can sign some of the best players in the world. There's a reason why we can produce some of the best players in the world as well, and that's because we're a well-oiled machine. Pardon the pun there, but yeah, we're just a very well-run club, and to me, the prospect of joining Manchester City with Guardiola being here has to be a huge appeal, and considering we've got his Erling Haaland's father, Alfie Haaland, as well, being a former Manchester City man, surely City need to be working quicker and harder to try and make this transfer happen, because I firmly believe that if we can make this transfer happen and we want to make this transfer happen, then it's very doable. I just feel like City are holding back and other clubs are stealing a march, and it'd be a great shame to miss out on such a great player like Erling Haaland because he ended up going to a club that couldn't afford him, and then in 2-3 years time Barcelona are back to square one, where just look at the mess that happened with Lionel Messi. So I'm not too sure I'm buying into Laporta's comments, Barcelona are back. I mean, we want our 1.5 million euros for Denis Suarez, was from like, what, 10 years ago, and they're still not paid it. Pay up is what I'm getting at there. So there we go, that's been the transfer update for today. I do hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy this video, leave a thumbs up so I know that you enjoyed this video. Also, don't forget as well to leave your thoughts of what you made of these transfers in the comments below. What's your thoughts on Barcelona trying to, well, out-muscle everybody with big words when they've not got anything to be able to back it up. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Also, don't forget as well to subscribe if you're new around here. Press that red button, press the bell and put your push notifications on. Like I said, daily Manchester City transfer updates coming for you guys to enjoy throughout the January transfer window. Oh, and check out my social media links. They're in the description below and sliding across at the bottom of the screen if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter and Instagram. My email also in the description below too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business enquiries. Go and check out today's video sponsor as well, OneFootball, link at the top of my description. Any downloads through that link would be much appreciated. Like I said, it's a fantastic football app. It's free to download. It keeps you up to date with all the latest football news, transfer news throughout all the January transfer window, including for information on Manchester City, and I do use them for my sources, so well worth having, as well as keeping you up to date with the latest scores, statistics, live league tables, results and everything, and all your good footballing needs. Well worth having. Go and check that out, link at the top of my description, and I'll see you all again tomorrow for the next daily Manchester City transfer update. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope everyone is safe and well. Peace. Ciao for now.